Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm gonna do something I don't do very often of. I'm always kind of reluctant. I don't know why, but I feel like today I'm gonna do kind of recommendations and potentials books for Victorian literature for Victober. So I don't know why I don't do recommendations very often. I don't know. It just doesn't come up, I guess, and I don't think about it. So I'll have to think about doing some other types of books later. You'll have to let me know. But at this point, I'm going to go through some of the books that I've read in the last couple years for Victober, and then I'm going to show you the potentials of stuff I bought because of those months of Victober, of books that I could pick up for my Victober this year or next year or the year after, because there's a lot. I didn't realize how much Victorian literature I'd picked up over the last few years, but I'm so excited to read like everything, and it's so hard to narrow it down, and that's what I need to do. So at this point, we're just gonna do that. So let's go through some of the recommendations. I'll throw up some of the potentials in the mix of them because some of the authors I've read before and other ones I'm looking to explore. So I'll start off with, of course, the Brontes. I just pulled Jane Eyre, of course. I really enjoy Jane Eyre. I came to this kind of in a weird way. So it took me a long time to actually finish the book. I had a friend who loved to read this to me while we were baking cookies when we were in high school. And I always got the first part, but I never really got very far into it. It was really great. Anyway, but I did read this a couple of years, or it's been a long time now since I read it, and it's probably due for a reread, but I really did enjoy this. And again, this is about Jane and her childhood, and then her becoming a governess, and with Mr. Rochester as her employer. And as I said, it's classic. I think pretty much everybody should read at least this book. I didn't pull it down, but I do have a couple of her other novels on my shelf. I have not continued with her, so I will. That's one I do need potential wise. Also, I read Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte and really enjoyed this. I personally didn't get along with The Tenant of Wellfell Hall. It's still on my shelf, and it's definitely one I will maybe revisit in 10 years. For right now, I can't. But this is really, like, again, it's very good showing what a governess has to go through in her place in society and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. I read that, I think, 2 years ago. Because I've done Victober twice. This will be my third year. So I am trying to read Anthony Trollope. I read The Warden 2 years ago and really enjoyed it. This has to do with the small area of Barchester, or Barchester. I can never say that. Anyway, and it follows the warden of a kind of a home for people who had disabilities of some sort, and how somebody decides that maybe he's getting a little bit too much money for what his position does. So this is the first book in the Barsetshire, or the Chronicles of Barsetshire. Is that? You think I'd remember that at some point. Chronicles of Barsetshire, yes. So I didn't bring it in here. I'm actually, the second one, Barchester Towers, is the one that I'm in the middle of that I would like to finish this Victober. So then I'm going to show a couple of books that, or a couple authors that I have. I've read a couple books, but I want to read more. So, the first Victober I did 2 years ago, I read The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I love this book. I so want to reread this, but he has so many books that I can get a hold of that I'm trying to hold off, and maybe in a couple more years I'll reread this. But I really enjoy this, and it has to do with a man who meets a strange woman on the side of the road and helps her out, and then his life is kind of turned around later when it comes out to what happened and who she was and stuff. So really enjoyed this book. I really like that. And then last year I read The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins and really enjoyed this one as well. This was much more murder mystery with kind of a detective in it, but it was a strange way to do it. It was really odd. I liked it overall. It has to do with a stone called the Moonstone that has kind of an Indian curse on it because it was stolen from India, and it goes missing, and it's why it goes missing and how, and who knows all about it, and the kind of twists and turns a lot. And I really enjoyed this as well. It was a great book. So let's see if I can, I have not only so much space. So then I'm just going to show you real quick all the books I have from Wilkie Collins that I want to read. So I think I might be picking up The Haunted Hotel by Wilkie Collins this month. Or in October, Victober. We'll see. This is I think this has, it has 2 short stories, The Haunted Hotel and The Dream Woman. Someone was just talking about The Dream Woman, and I goes, oh, I have that in that collection. I hear The Haunted Hotel is not one of his best, but I still want to read this book, and it's kind of short. So I thought I'd try some shorter ones. Because look, I have No Name, and I don't remember what this has to do. I know there's, I think this is the one where, I don't know if it's 2 sisters, their parents die, and then they're not sure they were legitimate or something. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm sure it's mystery and spooky. I don't know. Looks good. I also have Hide and Seek by Wilkie Collins. Most of these I don't know anymore. I went on a binge when I first read The Woman in White. So I just picked them up here and there. I also got Jezebel's Daughter, The Dead Secret, The Law and the Lady, and Armandale. And this one, I believe, is supposed to have a female bad guy. I think, or, you know, villain-wise, I'm not sure. Or a fallen woman or something. I don't know. But that one I'm really intrigued about. But of course, it's like gigantic. So anyway, I'm not sure what I'll pick up. I do have plenty of him to try. So, and then another one I have quite a few books of is Elizabeth Gaskell. I read North and South last June, so a year ago June. And if I do a reread during Victober, because that is one of the prompts, this is the one I'm going to reread. I really want to reread this. I loved it by the end. The beginning was a little slow for me, but I really got into it and I really enjoyed it. And I can't make myself watch the BBC adaptation, even though everybody raves about it, because the first 5 minutes is already not the same as the book. Anybody else have that issue? You have to tell me. Anyway, so, but I want to read more Elizabeth Gaskell, but this is the book I want to reread the most of all Victorian literature, so this could happen. I did try to read last year or the year before the Gothic Tales. I got partway through. So this is one if I do want to read some short stories of hers, Gothic. But I have like Ruth, and I have Mary Barton, which I got partway through earlier this year and I haven't finished. So this is another book I want to finish this next month, if I have a chance. I have Sylvia Lovers and Wives and Daughters. Am I missing a book? I don't know. I can't remember if I'm missing one or not. But those are quite a... You know, again, Elizabeth Gaskell is a writer that I knew nothing about until BookTube. And I'm still stunned. I do not remember anything from any of my classes when I was an English major. And I'm devastated that I did not discover her in my early 20s when I was doing that. That upsets me. Anyway, so I really do want to read more of her books. I just need to... buckle down and do that, but I really want to reread North and South soon. Anyway, and then of course a major one is Charles Dickens. I've read A Tale of Two Cities for sure. I read that in school, and I don't think I have finished anything else from him. So I have picked up several books of his, but Bleak House is the one that I'm going to focus on in this October. I did try to do the read along with Katie, the serial one, and I did try to tab it and I started to do it. I got 138 pages in, and then I couldn't read it in chunks like that. So I'm going to restart this, reread the beginning, and then try to read this in October this year. And this has to do with some young people who are attached to this big lawsuit, and that's supposed to be this fortune, but this lawsuit's been going on for years. So they're kind of in limbo on if they're going to get some money or not out of this. And the lawyers that are involved in, there's a murder or a death or something. I don't know. It was so interesting at the time. I just didn't get to really focus on this. So, but again, Charles Dickens, there's long books, short books. Again, A Christmas Carol, I have read that. I knew I read something else by him. But really, I haven't focused on any of his books like ever. Like, I have a memory of reading Great Expectations, like, that I at least attempted it, but I don't know if I actually finished it. So I have quite a lot. I have almost all his books now, so I really should start reading them. So it'll be this one first, though. So those ones I've definitely read, some of them, and then I want to read more of them, or, you know, that. So the next stack are stuff that I've not read anything by them, but I have them on my shelf now to try. So one of them is George Eliot. I have Silas Marner, that's been sitting on my shelf for years. And I want to read Middlemarch. And I have been meaning to read this all year. I feel like I have to just sit down and do it. Probably not going to be this Victober, but I might pick this up hopefully in the next year. But, you know, I would like to try her. An author, Victorian author I've never read. I hear, you know, some people really like her and some really don't. So I really want to see where I fall on that. So that would be kind of cool. And I don't know the story plots. I mean, the Middlemarch is about a town and the people in it. I don't know anything. And then Silas Marner, I can't remember if I don't have a clue. Something about a kid and this old guy. I don't know. And then I picked up Kim by, that's another one to maybe try, by Rudyard Kipling. And I know Katie at Books and Things did read this last year. And it has to do with a soldier in the Irish regiment stationed in India during the British Raj. So, as I said, it's just a time one. I just said I never read anything by him, and I thought, well, that was one that kind of interests me. So it could be a potential. Oh, I did have this other one by Charlotte Bronte in here, The Professor, which is one of her first novel, but I don't think it was published. I don't know if it was published during her lifetime or not. But it has a male protagonist, so it should be interesting. So I would like to pick this up at some point. I do have a book that I have borrowed from my friend that I might be reading. That's a short story called The Foundling, I think, by her. So that I might get to that this month. I have to give that book back. Oh, I just hit myself with the book. Anyway, so there is more Charlotte Bronte. I forgot I put that in the wrong stack. Sorry. George Gissing is one I definitely wanted to read last year. I just didn't get to it, and it's The Odd Women. And I think I saw Sean in the book Maniac put this on his list. This is one I have been wanting to read. It has to deal with some women who are getting older and their choices on, you know, if they stay single or get married or something. So I think it was written in, 1893. So this is definitely one I would love to pick up. Oh, I've been wanting to read this for 2 years, and this is Eastland by Ellen Wood. This is kind of like a mystery, I think. Something about this woman leaves her family with her lover, and then everything kind of goes wrong. I mean, you would think it would anyway. So I don't know. I've heard good things about it from other booktubers. I've had it on my list forever, just haven't read it. And then the last one is kind of one of those ones that I think that not very many people talk about, but again, we just started seeing books from her. I just started seeing them last year, and so I want to try her, and that is Charlotte Riddler. I think she was, oh crap, I can't remember if she was, sorry, I don't remember if she was, I can't remember her. I think she was the one that had, like, she wrote, like, a lot because she was, like, not very well off. Like, her husband left her pretty badly off, and she wrote to just feed her kids and stuff. So she has, like, a lot of books, but not all of them are in print right now. The Haunted Houses is 2 novels. And I think they're both spooky stories. She did write a lot of Gothic stuff, I guess. Fairy Water and The Uninhabited House. So I got that. And then I also picked up this one, A Struggle for Fame, which is about a woman who goes, I think she goes to London, and she's trying to make, because her parents died and her fortune's been lost, and she's trying to make her way, and she pretty much does anything she can to get ahead. I think that's what this one's about. So I do want to read that as well. So there are so many other, of course, Victorian books out there. These just happen to be the ones that I own. Either that I've read or that I want to read. So are you guys doing Victober? Are you getting excited like I am? I can't wait. And then Is there anything that you think you're gonna pick up, or you think anything of these I need to pick up right away? Let me know. Anyway, so if you like this video and you think I should do more recommendations of certain genres, let me know if there's a genre you want me to focus on. I just have not done this yet. This is not one of those things I've really put my mind to, and this is my first attempt, so you'll have to tell me how badly I did. Anyway, I hope you guys are looking forward to Victober, and I hope you guys pick a lot of good books. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.